Now we're right near the coastal town of Mablethorpe. We've come on the Louth to Bardney Railway, and this opened between 1874. Passenger services carried on until 1951, and goods services carried on until 1956. And we've come to the little village of Benniworth. The Louth to Bardney line, it was built by the Louth and Lincoln Railway Company. Between 1874 and 1876, it was opened in stages. Now there was always difficulties with raising funds to, build the line. It was hoped to serve a large amount of ironstone along this route at various quarries, but the deposits in these quarries were nowhere near as big as hoped for, and the line was never financially successful. Passenger services, they disappeared in 1951, and goods services closed in 1956. So it started down at Bardney. Look, that's just there in the map where I'm highlighting it now. And the other end of it was Louth. If we just jump over to the other map on the right hand side, you can also just make out in the centre where the line dips down and raises up to the left. That's where our tunnel is today. Now, zooming in on that map, our tunnel is almost just off centre to the right hand side, and we've got South Willingham station on the left of the tunnel. So let's get ourselves in there. It was always a single track line, so it's a single track tunnel, and apparently there's a drainage on one side and not in the centre as it normally would be with a normal double track width tunnel. So there's the eastern portal, looking for around about 12 foot on the inside. The track bed's nettled up to hell, but it's nice and dry so far. Now the brick erosion's pretty bad at the entrance, look at that, but from something that closed in the late 1950s, you can expect it, can't you? So we've still got the wooden mounts here. Look for the cable, where the cables would have run. Not sure what these cables are for, but they've been put in. They're probably only about 20 years old, aren't they? This one, look, it's still got a bit of the old iron or steel on that one, look. A little bit further along. There's another one just here, and it's got a bit on it as well, look. Look at that. That's got to be like over 100 years old, maybe. We've got quite a bit of build up on this side. Look at that, it's like cheese. I don't know what sort of cheese it would be. So the lower half is red brick, and then it turns into, well, it's red brick there, but that side, it's a mixture of blue and red. I'd say we're probably about 100 yards in right now. I'd say we're about 150 yards in now. We've got this kind of lip. Now it's where there's a different level of brick. Now whether the brickwork doubles in depth, but it's a blue brick. Look, it changes to a blue brick, and there's a brick's worth of depth going all the way over one side to the other. Right, we've got recess number one. It's quite a wide one, look. We can get inside it. It's not a very tall one either. I can just about fit underneath that. Not very deep. Probably about 6.5 foot tall.
but enough to fit a few people in there together. Look at that, that's well worn away. It's like it's been chipped away. Revealing like that yellow kind of brick. That's peculiar. Another old cable mount here, look. More erosion. So it looks like we've found part of the drainage system, which is on one side of the tunnel. That'll probably explain why it's a little bit higher on this side. The print on there says Jacksdale, British made, so whether that's from Jacksdale in Nottinghamshire, I'm unsure. And it does carry on over here. So I'm assuming it carries on all the way to what looks like a drain. And there we go. It's got some real clear water in that as well. That's really clear. Some weird carcass in the bottom as well. You see that down there, or just there? Oh. Can't even make out what that is. Got an intact drain cover here. It's still got clear water in the bottom. No carcasses. We're also back on balance. Well, say back on balance. It's the first time we've been on balance. That started around about 10 metres ago. So quite possibly ballast all the way. So we've got the curved base, we've got the curved back wall, how big is it? And very eroded archway on the top. Right, here's the third and final recess. It's the same design as the very first one, look, so flat bottom, flat back, looks a little bit taller, and the same kind of archway as well. That's really nice to make like a little log fire, that would, wouldn't it? Brilliant. So we've probably got maybe 70-80 yards to go. So on the left hand side, look, this is where the drain is. The drain is underneath where I'm walking right now. And we're still ballasted, look. There's not really any imprint from where the sleepers were at any point, but given it's been lifted for 60 years or more, you wouldn't really expect any, would you? Another drain there, so that's probably the final one we'll see along here. Been pretty good intact, but you got to think that that drain's got to be as old as the tunnel. The outside walls are curved in this beautiful stone tunnel mouth. We've got the iron in the centre, look, right at the top in the middle. There's also something just there, look, whether it had cables or it was some sort of something for a signal maybe, because you've got to think if it's still saying that, there's one on the opposite side as well. I don't think you can quite make it out. Maybe it did have something to do with signalling, or it carried some sort of cable over. And there's the other side there. Right, so the track bed, that carried on down there. We're not going to go any further down there. The tunnel is probably about 100 metres back where we just come from. But there used to be a station down there, South Willingham and Hainton. So if I can find any pictures of that, I shall bang them on and we'll talk about it a little bit. Going to go back towards the tunnel portal and have one last look at that. So back at the tunnel mouth now. I'd kind of like to have seen what it was like from above, but it's really not a place. I'm going to send the drone up here, and I think we're just going to see fields in a couple of roads anyway. But I'm having a little look at this. See if I can get over here. Right, come up here with me. You know, tunnel coping stone level here. Right, I'm going to try and make my way back down now and not land in the nettles. And we'll be back in Lincolnshire soon, and we'll be back very soon. Bye bye.